This is Nick with Rech Physio. So tonight I was going to talk a little bit about your feet and different issues related to that we had talked with some people about earlier in the week. Just typing in here. So there was a question about, the first question was about shoe inserts or orthotics or when to get new shoes, which is a great question. So typically, that's going to be arise because you have some pain in your foot or maybe shin splint type pain. So the best type of pain that's going to be impacted is your arch. So if you have plantar fascitis or pain in your arch, that's going to definitely respond well for most people by adding a little bit of support in the arch to help those muscles keep your arch up. Got a few people tuning in. Hi everybody. Hi Ricky. So plantar fascitis is one to add an arch support, which would help. Another one if you're having shin splints. So plantar fascitis or shin splints are two cases where the muscles in your lower leg or your foot are not strong enough to support your arch, and so they're kind of wearing out and pulling on your bone a little bit, or letting the fascia in your foot get pulled or stretched, and that's where you're feeling some of the pain. Hi Donna, hi Kelsey. So that would be a time to get a shoe insert to help or for an arch support if you're having plantar fasciitis or if you're having the shin splint type pain, because the shin splints are actually probably a result of the arch not being supported well enough. Because those muscles, some of the muscles that support the arch go up into your lower leg where you get that shin splint type pain. Hi Maria, thanks for watching. If anybody has any questions while I'm going along, just feel free to type them in and I'll try to address them as we go. And for everybody on here live, if you just want to type in live, or if you're on the replay, type in replay. That way I can just see everybody. So we're talking about the plantar fasciitis and shin splints. Another common thing that people will have is heel pain or kind of on the back of their heel, that like the Osgood Slaughters type pain. That might respond to having a little bit of heel lift. So just a little bit more in the heel to kind of raise the heel up. And what that does is it shortens the Achilles tendon just a little bit, so there's just a little bit less stretch on that, so you get a little bit less pain there. But in general, for when to change your shoes, like if they're getting old, like some people talk about changing your shoes every like in regular periods. For me, and what the research is showing, that it's not as much about having a supportive shoe or things around like supporting the foot or the shoe externally. It's more about having a strong foot, and the stronger your muscles within your feet and your lower leg are, the less that you're going to need the arch support or the supportive shoe. Hi Madeline, thanks for watching. So those are a few things to keep in mind there. So really think more about having a strong foot and strengthening your foot than changing out your shoes on a regular basis. I usually wear my shoes until they have holes in them, or until I don't like them anymore or something like that. It's less about the wearing the shoe and more about how strong your foot is. I talked a little bit about a few simple foot exercises to do, but I can just show like the simplest one, and I think a great one to do is just, and it's going to target the muscles in the arch of your foot. If anybody has these birthday or Christmas ideas, these socks are pretty sweet. This is a picture of my son, so divvy up is where those are. But what you just do is you point your foot down, because that kind of isolates the muscles in the bottom of the foot, and you curl your toes. And if you do that for 5 or 10 seconds, you should start to feel those muscles on the bottom of your foot working. So long term, if you do have plantar fasciitis, this is a great exercise to do to start to strengthen the muscles in the foot. Okay? And the biggest thing with that is going to be consistency. Doing it every day. Another great exercise is just balancing on one leg and doing it without shoes on, so that way your foot is having to stabilize and you're not having that extra support from a supportive shoe or from your shoe inserts. And you can kind of see that your foot might move around a little bit. That's those muscles working and having to stabilize, and so you're getting them stronger in that way. If you feel like standing on one leg is pretty easy, just stationary, take your other leg and go side to side or circles, counterclockwise, clockwise, front and back. If you do that, like 30 minutes each direct or 30 seconds each direction, you're going to start to feel a little bit of burn in your arch, especially if it's a little bit weak. So those are two great exercises to keep your feet strong long term. In the short term though, if you're in pain, you want that to be resolved to be willing to do some of the exercises and the long-term stuff. Got a few more people turning in. Hi Brenda, hi Mom, Kelly, Sai. So short term, you do want some arch support, but long term, you'd like to have your foot muscles stronger so you don't need the arch support as much. But what I've been doing for myself and for folks is just doing a simple custom arch support. And I just get foam, Silly Winks from Hobby Lobby. This is like $1.50. And you can see I've used a little bit of already. So it's thicker one, it's 5 millimeters. And so if you want to make your own, what I'm going to do now is show you how to make your own arch support shoe insert for about $1.50 from Hobby Lobby. So to start with, you'll just take the outline of your foot, which I already did, and then I'll kind of show what you want to do next. So let's see. So you can see the foot there. So you have the outline of your foot, but then you want to kind of track where the arch goes. And so what I just do is just kind of fold the paper up there and kind of track along the rough outline of the arch so I can kind of have a better idea of where to cut it. And so then I can kind of see the pencil mark or the pen marks, and then I just kind of, so that was on the back side, and then I just trace that on the front where my regular foot outline is. So everybody can see that. So from there, I just go about half the width of the foot. And so here I kind of shade it in. So that shaded in area is what you're gonna use to cut out for the foam. So then, what you just do is take the outline that you have of your foot and place it over the foam. So it'll be like this. So put it where, I try to always be efficient with my use of foam. And so then, once you have it in place, you're going to punch holes along the outline of where your arch support is going to be, which will leave holes in the foam. And so then you can just cut along the dotted line, which I will do now. Let's see here. So then you just cut that out. Okay. So then you'll have just your regular insert that's already in your normal shoe, and that foam is going to go on the bottom, just like that, and you're just going to tape it. I have athletic tape. You could use duct tape, whatever works for you. So you just want to kind of put your foot on the insert, and so then you can make sure you have the cutout that you just made in the right position. It might be pulled out a little bit more to the side of the insert, just so that it's all the way supporting the arch where you want it. So then once that's in the right spot, you hold that in place. I'll set that there. And then you just take your athletic tape or your duct tape, take a length of that, and then just tape it onto the bottom of the insert, taping the foam onto the insert like that. You'll probably want to use a couple pieces. Kind of overlapping a little bit. Okay. Most people are going to want 2 pieces of foam to be an adequate support for the arch. So what I usually do then is just go back to the same outline that you just made, and you're going to do it just a little bit smaller than the first one, and have it to the side, because you don't because you're wanting to kind of have that graded increase in the bulk for the arch there. So same thing, you're just gonna punch out the holes again along the outline of the insert onto the foam. And so it should be just a little bit smaller than the original one. Cut it out. And then same thing, you can kind of test it by having your foot on the insert, kind of seeing where it feels best. Okay. And then same thing, just taping it down. The athletic tape actually holds pretty well. I've had some that stayed in place for years. As long as you don't have to take your shoe insert in and out a whole lot, it should just stay in place pretty well. So like I said, most people are going to use about 2 pieces of this 5mm foam. They do have 2mm, which is a little bit thinner. So if you feel like the 2 is too much, you can do like 1 thick one and and 1 or 2 thinner ones. So then you just slide it into your shoe. And you can kind of, if you feel like it's not in the right spot at first, the great thing is you just kind of adjust it and move it around. And it's really cheap and really pretty simple to use. It might feel like a pretty high amount at first. The great thing that I like about the foam also is that it does kind of compress down over time, and which is actually in line with the whole idea of wanting your muscles to become stronger and actually take over the duty of supporting the arch instead of having this external support. Your feet were designed to work without all these shoes and everything else. So the more you can have your muscles supporting the arch, the better you're going to be for that. So it's actually good that the foam kind of compresses over time, because you're going to start with the foam being this major support, and then it's kind of go down over time. Then if you're consistent with your exercises, your muscle strength is then going to go up over time, and your arch is going to stay supported, even though there's going to be less thickness in that foam, which is actually good because we want the muscles doing it anyway. So that any questions on the arch support or the plantar fasciitis? I don't think anybody has said anything yet. But if that's helpful, if you just type in helpful, that would help me know what everybody's thinking there. So then the other question that I got was about cracked heels in the winter, and actually this person said it was kind of all year round. So first thing that you would think of is the creams, kind of lotions, salves. I looked online and there's a couple different articles that I found that people recommend, so I was going to post those on this. But I think the biggest thing with those would just be, especially if you're having a lot of irritation or if it's kind of a long-term thing, is the consistency. So you might have to put it on like in the morning and in the evening, and then actually like in the evening putting socks on over it so that that lotion and the moisture stays where it's supposed to be and doesn't wear off anywhere. And then in the winter, especially if your feet are cold, that's just going to exacerbate the cracking there too. But then nutritionally, and is going to play an important role, and especially being hydrated. If you're dehydrated, if you're not drinking enough water, that's going to exacerbate any cracking or irritation that you have in your heels too. And also for the creams and salves, looking for ones that don't have artificial fragrances or things that could actually kind of be a little bit of an irritant. So that's the external things. But then nutritionally, there's a lot of information too, and I'll post a couple of the articles that I read, is that getting enough of your healthy fats, especially vitamin E and your omega-3s, they help support the moisturization of the skin and kind of protect against free radicals and help the skin stay healthy. And vitamin C is an important one also. It helps with the production of collagen, which is the structural protein in your skin. And so you need your collagen to be strong. That could be a reason why you're having some of the cracking. So zinc and selenium or a few other minerals that are mentioned too. Another source of collagen is your bone broth, or if you're cooking with your meats, having the bone in, so that way you're getting some of that collagen. Or if you're eating chicken, eat the skin. There's obviously collagen in the skin of chicken. And another thought there too is if you do have diabetes or pre-diabetes, your skin needs glucose just like every other cell in the body, and that impaired glucose metabolism and regulation that you have with diabetes could be a factor there. So just making sure that if you do have that's well controlled and that's not causing the cracking in your feet to be worse. So a couple of things to think about there, and like I said, I was going to post some of the articles that I found. Hi, Belisa. So that's what I had about the foot pain and the questions on the feet that were asked earlier in the week. Like I said, I'll stay on for a little bit longer if anybody has any other questions about anything I just went over. And feel free to message or write a comment, and I'll address it when I can. But thanks everybody for watching. It looks like there's a few people still on, so thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. It looks like it's going to be nice out.